The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Patty Teal, and our icon today is none other than Donnita Hill. Donnita Hill has set the pace in the real estate industry for 40 years. She has been the top producing realtor for Exit Realty in the state of Tennessee every year since 2016. She was the first to start the real estate team concept, in the Upper Cumberland. Donnita has a passion for her community and for making dreams come true for her clients. Welcome, Donnita.
Well, and thank you and good morning. And good morning from Cookville, Tennessee, everyone.
Oh, I haven't spent much time in Tennessee, but I looked at pictures of the area that you're in, and it looks like there's waterfalls, and it's just amazingly beautiful.
It really is, and surrounded by beautiful countryside. And I tell folks that ask me why they should consider moving to our area, and I said, there's so much. It will take me a while, but I will tell you, in my opinion, obviously the benefits of what we've just discussed and the economical aspects is very important. But I tell you, it's the people. I believe we have folks in our community that are the most helpful. They truly care, and they love new people joining us. So that makes it really good for anyone that's considering moving to a smaller, but yet a progressive town.
Well, that is lovely to hear. Goodness sakes, I certainly want to visit there because I love hiking. I love the outdoors. I love the woods. And so it just looks like a fabulous place to be.
You would love that. Absolutely. Yeah. When you come, I'll take you and show you some of those places.
You will? Thank you so much.
Sure. I love doing that. Yes. Yeah.
And the pricing on the houses, seems so reasonable compared to other areas. I was looking at some of the listings. Can you discuss that just a little bit?
Well, sure, I can. Our particular area, we're about halfway between Nashville and Knoxville, which makes it very accessible for folks that need interstate, convenience. But I think what we've seen from folks that have moved here and continue to tell me, and local folks too, is that our quality of what we offer is amazing in construction and all of those added benefits, amenities that we have outside of that. And again, the people are most welcoming and want to be here to introduce folks and help them, with their moves and all.
Wow, that is lovely. So I had to find out a little bit about the area, but I want to wind back around because you've been doing this for 40 years. So we're going to go back to when you were just a little youngster and got into this field, and just tell us a little about the journey and how you got to where you are today and what drew you into this field.
Well, as I was a marketing major at Tennessee Tech University here in our area, I always had hoped that someday I could utilize a profession that could, the benefit of having had those 4 years of marketing. So I first, when I got out of college, I was a court reporter, very interesting. Then as 2 or 3 years went along, and of course the workloads, working all night, I decided I'm going to have to do something I'll work hard at, but yet I can have some rest between 10 and 4 or 5. So a lot of my friends and people in the area said, hey, you should think about real estate. So I said, well, maybe, but I often thought with the math and all the things involved, the equations there, that could be a little bit of a struggle. But you know what? It's been the easiest thing in the world, because if you love people and you love helping and making a difference, it just pulls it together so easily. So in 1978, I became a full-time, well, actually a part-time realtor at that time. And I worked for a gentleman, Dan Turnbull. I love him like family. Knew that I guess that I would be able to do okay in the business. So he challenged me and he said, hey, if you can work part-time and you sell $1 million in real estate, I'll send you to Hawaii, you and your family. Well, all I need is a challenge. That's all I need. I said, hey, Dan, just go ahead and buy the tickets.
Oh,
He
you
looked-
are so cute. And
and
very
And
confident. I like that.
well, he looks at me and said, really? I said, go ahead, because I will have that before the end of the year.
Mhm.
Well, sure enough, that year in September, part-time, I had gotten just past that. So he calls me and says, well, I should have bought that ticket, but I'm going to buy it now. So my 2 children, husband and I, had a wonderful time in Hawaii for a
Oh,
part-time.
how wonderful.
And it just having, I guess, the guidance of such good people as Diane and other people, it made it very easy to learn. And I'm very grateful for that, because I have so much to be thankful for with people that have been in my life.
Oh, that's a beautiful story.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And then you just
yes.
kept going ever since?
Then I figured out after that first year, you know what? I love this so much. I'm going to go full time. Well, of course, Dan was pleased about that, and I did, and it just progressed from the love of the business, the challenge of the business, and the desire to learn and make a difference that really brought it all together. And
Mhm.
along with that, people say, "Well, what is the other ingredients? There has to be." I said, "Hard work."
Yeah, there is that.
I mean, you might want to get up earlier than 5 o'clock sometimes, but I've
Mhm.
always been an early riser, and I'll work until I'm tired and I can't work anymore. But at the end of the day, I know that give 110%. That's what I always want to do, give more than I receive. And it's
Mhm.
very well.
And I imagine because it's not a huge town that you kept those connections with the people. And are you even friends with them?
Oh,
Some of
I
your-
am.
Yeah.
I am. And I love it when there's functions in our town that
Mhm.
we go to, and I see people or families, and you're able to catch up with them and how they're doing, and all of that. And those memories you make and the results that come along with it is just really a hard way. I mean, it's easy to achieve when you work hard, but it's hard to describe what that feeling feels like.
Mhm.
We have people after 40 years say
Right.
thank you again. Those 2 words,
Oh.
thank you.
Mhm.
Dad taught me on a big old farm. There were 7 children, and there were 550 acres. And every day I'd go milk the cows with my dad. He said, you need to tell people, as many people as you see during the day, thank you. They'll never forget it. It'll turn a frown into a smile. I have on the back of my card the 2 words, thank you, why you.
Oh.
And I
Mhm.
just, that gratification just really sums it up, I think.
Boy, I don't think when you have that kind of a gratitude that you could be an unhappy person. So that explains the feeling that we're all getting from you, I'm
Oh,
sure.
well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, have you been with the same brokerage for all these years?
No, I have not. I started out with my truly wonderful friend, Dan Turnbow, with his company. And then after a few years, I was offered, obviously, as so many people are,
Mhm.
something you felt like you couldn't turn down. So I've been actually with four companies. I started with the Exit Group in 2016. Been very happy with that process, and I am the broker here. Actually, Exit owns the business, but it freed me up to do what I love doing. So that has really been a blessing.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes.
And I know I saw online that you're credited with bringing the team concept to the area.
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe you could speak a little to how you got that started and where your team
Yes.
started and where it is today.
Yes. Well, yes, I did. I belonged to the Howard Brenton group. And you may have remembered or heard of Howard Brenton. He passed away a few years ago, but a very motivating individual. And I would go to at least one of his seminars a year, and sometimes 2. Well, they were very progressive thinking. And Eric Martinez from Colorado had brought that idea to our group back in 1984. And he said, hey, we challenged each other to come up with better ideas, how we can help people. So he said, I was sitting in a doctor's office about 2 or 3 months ago, and I thought, hey, why can't the real estate business work like the office? You have someone that, of course, answers the phone and helps that person as much as they can. Then you have a listing coordinator, a closing coordinator, and then there you would be the team leader. I thought about that, and I stayed in touch with him, and it was working well. So yes, I brought that to Cookeville, Tennessee in 1984. People thought at first, oh, I don't understand why you would do this. Well, when they saw that how much simpler and easier it made it for everyone, buyer, seller, and the organization, they caught on. There's a whole lot of teams in the area now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And
yes.
it must have freed you up a lot with your charm and ability to relate to people to do what you do best.
It really did, because when I think back in 1978, and that was really before we had the big telephones. I don't know, you probably couldn't remember them, but we had telephones.
Yeah. Believe me, I remember. I'm right there with you.
Nothing was electronic, so we carried keys on a big ring, which I still have, and I'm making a little collage of all this. And of course, we had those really thick MLS books, which have things on the computer. But we were able then, from being able to take that team concept and have people to help do all that, it made such a big difference.
Right.
Yes.
And how many are on your team today?
Well, there's actually 5 of us.
5.
My husband, since 2002, has been the person that's been the detail person. He retired from UPS. He was a district manager with them, so obviously he had all of those attributes that makes keeping up with details really easy. And I needed that because
wonderful to have somebody take care of the details. I wish I had an assistant like that.
You know what? He said, and you really don't have to pay me. I said, oh no, you're worth your weight in gold. Don't say that. But at any rate, that was a huge benefit. And then all of the other folks that, were very qualified, they just make that process so much easier, you know.
Yeah. And, when people are doing what they enjoy and they're good at, it just makes everybody so happy. I have a friend who loves to read manuals, instructional manuals. Can you imagine that? So when
I cannot.
I would get a new piece of equipment for audio, I would take it over to him and he'd be like a kid in a candy shop. He was so excited. So it takes all kinds.
Isn't that amazing? And see how much better it becomes. All of us have different likes and dislikes, and what someone will do and what a difference it makes for us to have someone like that on board.
Absolutely. Yes.
True.
So could you highlight some of what you feel are your major achievements over the year? I'm thinking real estate, but it could be anything.
Oh, I'll have to tell you, the major achievement I've ever done is being a grandmother.
Oh, lucky you.
I tell you, I had always heard that, you'll never know what life really, how you've been blessed until you become a grandmother. Yeah. Well, I have she just turned 6 last week. We went to Disney World.
Oh, how fun.
What a joy. What a joy. And then 2 older grandsons. But that would be my major achievement and some other. But then going back to real estate, I would have to say that being able to do the numbers and the results that I really never thought about doing. And I never really know where I am until maybe in the first quarter, second quarter. And then at the end of the year, somebody say, where are you? I said, well, I don't know. I just keep on doing what I love, and that sort of continues to progress. But that in and of itself, being able to be the #1 exit realtor out of I don't know how many in the state of Tennessee, and now the Southeast for the last 3 years. So I would say those probably professionally are the greatest achievements.
I
And
bet.
I have so many people to
Well,
be
you just can
for.
never retire because people would miss you too much. So I hope you,
I
you
have
certainly
people say,
seem like,
I have people say, you're not going to retire.
no, well, it looks like you have enough energy to keep going for
Well,
whatever,
it's,
long
the
time.
age thing. I try not to think about the age thing in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it and how you feel and how you look at the world.
Sure.
You wake up. I've always been very positive,
Mm-hmm.
and I always make a positive note every morning. And I have a song I've sung for many years, and you probably have heard the song. It's actually a gospel song,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes like, something good is going to happen today. And I sing that.
Wow, how
And
lovely.
that gives me vibes of, hey, the world is okay. You just go out there and do what you do best. And it's been wonderful. Yeah. It's
Oh
been
my
wonderful.
gosh.
Yes.
Ah, I just love your attitude of gratitude and just your appreciation of the world. That's really wonderful.
I do. And I know there's many situations for a lot of people that become, a misfortunate, things happen. But I just think if you look back and count your blessings all the way along the way, that lightens your load a little bit, even
Mhm.
during those times.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah. So how was it the past couple of years for you in your area? Was it like it was with the rest of the country with low supply and things were
yes.
selling very, very quickly?
Yes, absolutely. We saw things happen in our area and community, much like a lot of people did. I mean, homes would go on the market and the same day, or maybe a couple hours, they'd be gone. There were overbids.
Mm-hmm.
I would have people that, and several did buy sight unseen with
Right.
the pandemic and all that was going on. That was totally understandable. And one of the first questions they would ask me sometimes in some of the larger areas, such as California, New York, and Florida, they say, how much should I expect to overbid on this in the beginning? And I said, well, you don't need to overbid at the beginning. You may end up doing that if you choose to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start with a list and kind of the competition of offers. We'll know what we're going to need to do. And so many did do overbids, which was really amazing to all of us here. We've never experienced that before. And then we've had the low inventory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to have a good supply to sell in order to meet the needs of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people when I do my prospecting and seeing people, I leave our office and say, I'm going to go beg for listings. Fun because some of the places that I
Well, the competition for them just
it's amazing.
right.
Yeah. And I walk into the bank where I go all the time. One of the banks, I say, doesn't anybody need to sell out? And the paper says,
Lock the door.
yeah, they say, oh, no, here comes Donnita. Remember, she's going to ask you if you'll sell your house.
Oh,
You never know when someone's thinking that might be a possibility.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So could you address, as things are slowing down, how that changes the way you work and the way you help others? Because certainly we're just kind of maybe going from one extreme to another, or maybe not. Just tell me where you think we're at.
Well, I think we've seen certainly a different climate change in real estate
Mm-hmm.
in the last few months. I think in order that you have to keep your priorities more in order now than ever. Your listings have to be the priority because once again, you have to have something available for those people that need to move here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been more difficult because the economy and the pricing for our local people, some of those folks have been bid out of the market. So
Right.
now they won't lots of times think of selling because they can't replace what they have.
Sure.
And
Where would they go?
where would they go?
Mm-hmm.
So that has been a huge situation for lots of people. Lots of people would have loved to have taken advantage of these wonderful interest rates.
Right.
Where can I go to get anything close to or similar? So that has been the real challenge for the last, probably a year and a half, close to 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
even now, if they decided to sell because interest rates are up, that might make them think twice before they would list their house? I'm just asking.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true, because
Mhm.
when it starts going up, you've got to know where you're going to be with where you land. And
Mhm.
interest rates can be up on a couple percentage. Well, that would make a big difference for most any family.
Right.
And of course, so many people that moved here from the larger towns were cash buyers, so they had not that concern. But your average local people have had
Mhm.
that as a major concern.
Yeah,
Yes.
I really
Yes.
understand.
Mhm.
So, do you get a lot of people who uh, either buy second homes or just have left other areas to come? And if
Yes.
so, which areas are they coming from?
Yes, yes. Well, we've had probably 4 to 5 states, obviously California being the number one
Mm-hmm.
state. We've had a lot of people from the Chicago, Illinois area,
Mm-hmm.
from New York, from Florida, and from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Those have been the 5 top states, although several other people in the mix with, job transfers and second home buyers
Mm-hmm.
has been pretty prevalent in the last year and a half.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be pretty typical, doesn't it, of what's going on around the country?
It is. I mean, it's just had to be an adjustment for everyone.
Right.
Everyone involved. Yes.
And for your newer agents coming into a time selling real estate that they've never faced before, how do you advise them?
Well, I advise them to learn as much about the business, know the market. I mean, know the inventory. And because it's better and easier now, because there's not as much out there, but then learn, read books every day. Watch anyone that's providing a good seminar. Tom Ferry's great with that. I've shared numbers and numbers of books with people, and I've highlighted several things. It's been a big help for me over the years. And I just say, do not get discouraged. Keep the positive thinking going.
Mm-hmm.
And people read that very easily from folks. If they feel you're not showing vibes of knowing that they will be helped by you, they're obviously not going to choose you as their realtor. So many that they can learn from online, and the read and get out among people. Ask questions. Ask
Mm-hmm.
people, hey, tell them what you do for a living, and say, oh, I'd love to help you. If you have 5 or 10 minutes, sometime I'd love to sit down with you. You would be surprised at the people that say, oh, sure, let's talk now. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
want to learn. It's something that affects all of us in the real estate. Most everybody has a home, and they want to know what's going on with it.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I see you have so many positive attributes. You're so grateful for things, and your attitude is just amazing. But what do you feel is your biggest strength?
Oh, I would probably have to say my biggest strength is I just strive to learn all the time,
Oh, mhm.
all the time. And I do what I tell other folks that are getting in the business: learn, read, ask.
Mhm.
And when you pick up just one pearl, I call them pearls,
Mhm.
about the business, you can use that to help people so much. And sometimes in negotiation, that's when so many of the newer folks need some assistance, because that's much more difficult than
Sure.
going out and doing the listing per se. I just, if people turn down an offer that you feel is very good,
Mhm.
I've seen that happen many times. And this is what I say in my closing suggestions or remarks to them. You do know that we're turning down this offer, and you have bought your home back for what's on this piece of paper here. Think about
Wow.
that. A
Mhm.
lot of people don't realize that. They may have paid 150, 10 years ago. And that house could be 450 now.
Mhm.
Just compare where you've been and where you're going.
Right.
That will help make that decision.
Wow. Such a simple thing, and yet it's so
Yes.
effective. Yeah.
It really is. And a lot of people don't think about that until you mention, looking where your profit is. And then when they really think about it, they understand. I've had a lot of folks that have done a final contract after we talked that.
Wow.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously, for all realtors, brokers, A lot of the time is spent prospecting, finding leads. What are your favorite ways to get people? You've been there 40 years, so a lot of people already know you, but what are your favorite ways to build your business?
Oh, I say I build it one wonderful buy and seller at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone is thinking of selling and they do the interviews, and I love interviewing, by the way.
Oh, I can
I
tell
love that.
you should have your own show, no doubt.
I love
Really?
that because it gives an opportunity to speak your heart to people.
Uh-huh.
Tell them this is what you're all about, and that you will do what you tell them you're going to do, because that's where a lot of people fall down. They will tell folks, oh, I'll do this, that, and other, but you need to show them what you tell them. It's your word and you'll do. So
Mm-hmm.
that, I think, probably has been my strongest benefit. I love that. And I also love to see people happy. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make them happy. So,
Boy, I think you went into the right field, and I just love seeing you so happy and that you've had such great success.
well,
Do you go ahead? Do you have any goals? I'm sure you have goals, but
oh,
where do you want to take it from here?
well, so many people ask me, oh, do you ever plan to retire? Well, the answer is no, but we don't know what life has in store for us.
Mm-mm.
And when that day might come, then I will know that it's my time.
Mhm.
And I do have my goals. I believe in goals. I still write them down. December 31st. My
Mhm.
goals for, and each quarter I check off those goals and see where I am. And I am so upset with myself if I'm not there.
Wow.
I'm harder on myself than anybody.
I bet so.
I do need to be. I'm that type of personality, and that's the way that I'm able to move forward and get it handled.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a list maker myself, and in fact, I love to check things off.
There's a feeling about that check mark, isn't there?
There is. Even when
Fun.
I know I did it, but it's just so fun to go check.
It is. The visual
Yes.
thing is so important
Mm-hmm.
in any
Mm-hmm.
business, but it sure is in this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those are some wonderful goals. Do you have goals as far as your business, as far as growing it to a certain point?
Well, I think, I will continue to work really hard, and it's me
Mhm.
work shouldn't be used, but to continue to do what I do every
Right.
day and love that. I want to continue to do the best I can do and be the best that I can be.
Mhm.
As my daddy always told me, and my mother too, you give 110%. That other 10%, it may not be obvious to you in a year, 2 or 3, but it someday it'd be real obvious to you. And that is so true.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And everybody is so different. Some people like to say, I want to sell this many more houses by this time, but it certainly works to say I'm going to put my all into it, and
Well,
that's what
that's
I'm
right.
doing.
That's right.
Mhm.
And then I've always been fortunate every year when I do this, it always seemed to improve. So
Right.
there's an old saying, if it's, and my school teacher said, never use the word ain't, but there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes. Yes.
So that's kind of what's worked well for me.
Right. I love those. Are they called them colloquialisms?
Yes, that's what
Something
they
like
call
that.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
it.
My
And I
mother
love,
had. I
oh, I
love them
love
too. My
that.
mother had a million of them, but my kids, when I say them, they look at me like, what?
When you're becoming like your mother,
I
as
know.
everyone does. And,
Exactly.
and what a
Exactly.
wonderful thing. But at the
I
time when we
know.
were watching our parents, that was something.
Right.
They'd be like my mother. Yeah.
Yeah. Any business challenges?
Well, I think the business challenge for everyone right now is having the business to maintain and still be able to bring to the table more properties
Mhm.
for all these wonderful people wanting to move here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a supply and demand thing, and we have so many larger areas want to come to Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee especially. So,
Mhm.
and they're moving away from Nashville because it's grown so much in
Right.
the last 5 to 10 years. Just about a 45-minute drive to an hour is where they want to be, and that's us right here
Mhm.
in Cookeville, Tennessee.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Well, I can't tell you what a delight it has been I know people are going to love you and are going to enjoy this episode so very much. Thank you for being our icon for this
Well,
episode.
I thank you kindly for asking me to be. It's been a joy.
You are a joy.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you. Anyone out there that I can ever help, I promise you, I keep my phone on from 7 o'clock in the morning to 8:30 at night. And if my
Oh,
phone number's there, I will answer it and I will help you.
well, of course, we can't leave without you giving your contact information. So
Sure,
people
absolutely.
could get a hold of you.
Absolutely. My cell phone number, and I always have this little creature with me, like I said, from 7 in the morning to about 8:30 at night, is 931-261-1500. I've had that number since 1987, by the way.
Wow, what, you don't
It's
have to
easy.
change them anymore. Back in the day, they had the roaming charges and you had to, but now you can go anywhere with that
That's
number.
true, and it's easy
Yeah.
to remember too. And then
Right.
the office number, we're located at 8180 East 10th Street in Cookeville, Tennessee, and the office number is 931-526-4455. And of course, I'm online at
Mhm.
DonnitaHill.com, and that Donnita is spelled Donnita.
Right, I noticed that.
Spelled a lot of different ways, but
2 N's in Donnita. Yes.
that's it. That is
All
it.
right.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yes.
it's been a delight. Thank you so very much. And
Well,
you have a blessed day.
and thank you, you as well. I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.